the very first night we were out, which the way we normally do this, we have sort of an initial dinner, and we had a place right on the beach there in North Carolina on the Outer Banks. And after dinner, we go out to the National Seashore, and it's a beautiful island that we go to that has all the beautiful sand dunes and the Atlantic Ocean, of course, to the east. And as we were doing this, we were training people in what the protocols were and doing the contact protocols for inviting these visitors to come in on a close approach. And of course, we're in an area that's highly militarized because the north of there is Norfolk and Virginia Beach and Atlantic Command and the biggest naval fleet on the East Coast, and as well as Air Force. And so we were, aware that there often at these events there's a lot of surveillance that occurs, but the group was a very ready group, and very quickly we had in the southern sky a large craft that was about 2 or 3 inches at arm's length, and that's big. If you look out the window at a plane going by, it's a fraction of maybe a quarter of an inch at arm's length if it's a 747. This was 3 inches at arm's length that was right in the atmosphere that came down at an angle. And the way it did it is that it materialized and would be this enormous sort of lenticular-shaped object, and then it would vanish, and then it would reappear on the same trajectory, and it traversed the entire sky in under a second or two.
Really fast. Very
fast. And then it looked as if it went over the ocean. And after it was over the ocean, and it appeared to be completely dematerialized, there emerged from the ocean an energetic field that had within it this very bright light that began to signal to us, and it was 90 feet from the group. Now, this is an amazing thing because we not only filmed this, but everyone on the beach saw it. And if you can imagine, and we're going to get into what the technologies are that permit this, you have an object there that the only evidence of it, because it's being very discreet, because I believe not only are these projects monitored, but we've often had, and we did have immediately after this event, a lot of military jets and a lot of military reconnaissance. They manifested as just this point of light that was hovering, I don't know, perhaps 5 feet above the beach, maybe not even that.
Yeah, just a few feet.
And it was very close to our circle. And it didn't just happen once. We have the videotape of this. It appeared at least 100 times over the following hour. And the encounter was really, really intense for everyone there because you have an extraterrestrial vehicle that is on the beach signaling like this.
Did it just do it?
Yeah, it's doing it often.
Yeah, sometimes the boat that's way out there might look like that, but it's worth noting because, you know, it's hard to...
Just did it again.
Yes, it just signaled right. Again. Did you see it? This is on the beach.
Yeah, it's very close to where the waves are breaking. It's right out there.
There it went. Did you see it?
How far below the...
There, right that is.
Wow.
How far below the horizon is the beach?
To me, that one was a little bit...
Deep Space Command Protection System.
Just blinked
what
again.
I was saying, it was defensive, it's protective, holding the protection.
Oh my God.
The human cabal that has been targeting these things are being held off so this can be here visible for people. This is amazing that this is visible. Oh, there it is.
That's
right.
Did you see it?
It's doing it every 3 or 4 seconds.
That is right here on.
That was really cool. That's beautiful.
So when you're seeing with your inner sight, see the beams, and invite them. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Right? Oh, there twice. See, as soon as very, very large. I think it's I was going to say several hundred feet large. Yeah, I agree. It's very large. And there's another one, a light. Did you see that?
Yes.
It's still blinking, yep, every few seconds.
Every little bit.
Yep, again. There again.
We're filming this with the night scope. Has everyone seen this at least once or twice? It's done it about 100 times, I think. But I mean, but you know, so there, it was very bright. It was just exactly right here.
We appreciate the bright ones.
It was right here. Did you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
The craft itself is mostly dematerialized, and yet there are these energy forms moving around it. This is why old man McDonnell Douglas named his Phantom Works when he was, because it's like a phantom sort of a phenomenon. And, you know, as this event happened, I mean, Linda might want to share what she saw during this. I mean, it was just very, very interesting, because what it was saying to me was, we're wanting to do this type of contact event for a major world power. And we had just decided we would do this in the coming year with one of the major G7 countries, and officially. And what this was saying to me is that the visitors are ready to do it, even with a group of people that haven't had, you know, 10 or 20 years of experience doing these sort of experiments and expeditions, which we've done with CSETI. And by the way, you can go to cseti.org and see about these programs, these training programs that we do to make contact with these visitors. So what this was saying to me was that, you know, we can do this even though it's a brand new group of people that had never been together. We had literally met each other 2 hours before, and here this enormous craft flies in from space, traverses the entire sky, crystal clear sky, and then dematerializes but manifests as this light on the beach there for an hour, signaling and communicating. Of course, the communication was all in thought forms and what have you, and it gets kind of way out there what happens when you're dealing with an interstellar civilization. But this was something that I thought was a really encouraging sign and evidence from them that they were saying, yeah, we're ready if you guys are. It was really quite remarkable, and I know it was a life-altering event for everyone who saw this event take place.
Well, it was astounding, because usually something like that happens maybe towards the end of the week when we've all been together and out in the field getting used, you know, the new people getting used to it. And this just started taking place, and people could see the light flashing literally with their naked eyes. It was material enough that anyone who was looking could see it, and it was intermittently flashing. But I also was looking through the night vision camera of the fellow that was filming it, and it even flashed more times that weren't as obvious to the naked eye. And also, there was more than one point of light flashing out there. There were 2 and possibly even 3. And with the naked eye, you could see color variations in the different flashes as well. I saw kind of an amber orangey color and a more bluish kind of teal color, for sure. It was just astounding. And what was so remarkable was it was between the surf and our circle. It was on the beach, and we stepped it off a few days later, and it was about 90 feet away from our circle. So, I mean, that's really close. It was really amazing.
Right, and there was a lot that could be seen that was more what they call neutrino light. I guess the mystics would call it an aura, a sort of an energy field that was fluxing all around this object. Which is very hard to image with a camera, but which you can definitely see. That was this enormous craft. And, of course, you know, I've explained this before, that, you know, if you're going faster than the speed of light, you're not going to be visible in the visible spectrum. And if you're an interstellar civilization, you can't get from another star system to here at anything less than the speed of light. And, therefore, it's axiomatic that the manifestations of these extraterrestrial interstellar civilizations are going to be these really anomalous and very unusual sort of events. But this was one where the entire craft itself, as it flew in very quickly, was seen by about a third of the group. Some of the other people were facing in the wrong direction. And what was interesting, the reason they were facing in the wrong direction is that in the opposite section of the sky, in the north and northwest, there were 24 brilliant white objects that were in space that were set up as sort of a protective flotilla that were out there. And we have this filmed. It's one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. If you can imagine brilliant, bright white objects that would strobe on and off that were not connected to any aircraft, that were in the sky, but I think they were exo-atmospheric out in space to the west and north of us. What I got the sense is that this was a show of protection for our group so that this craft could fly in and be there on the beach doing what it was doing. And that is why a lot of the people were looking in that direction when in the south this very brilliant and large craft flew in and then remained mostly dematerialized, but in this sort of fluxing, pulsing magnetic field form on the beach with this light. The light, I have to say, everyone saw. It was a very bright light that would just 90 feet from the group would just occasionally come on. And it would come on usually in context of me saying or sharing something with the group. And I later walked into that area. And the experience was that as I led the group, I walked into right exactly where this light was coming on and off. And as I got close to it, on my right side, a huge white light appeared. And at that point, a lot of people saw me sort of disappear or become somewhat not visible, although I didn't experience that. But people looking at me, it looked as if I was translucent or...
To me, you were engulfed by the beings, because the beings were kind of hazy, sparkly, and I felt like they clustered around you and kind of like covered you up to us who were watching, and also there was like a brightness around you, like an aura as well, that a lot of people saw.
Yeah, a lot of people saw an enormous bright, and I went into a very high state of consciousness when this happened, and saw all these really amazing interstellar beings that were there, as well as some very advanced celestial beings. And it was clear to me that the contact was happening from an interstellar civilization that were in a state of where both their technology and their consciousness was at the level of God consciousness and celestial awareness. And it was just a beautiful experience. In fact, it was very emotional for me as I went into this area where this beautiful light kept appearing and which was filmed.